In this video, I'm going to show quickly how you could make a rubric using a spreadsheet app. In this case, I'm using Google Sheets, which I would recommend since ultimately you may want to save this stuff in Google Drive. You could also use Excel, or on a Mac, you could use Numbers, the Numbers app. But I'm using Google Sheets pretty similarly. What I like to do is I like to highlight where the rows and columns I'm going to use. So maybe it's going to be this number of cells. The size doesn't matter yet. I'm going to put a border around it so I can identify where it is. And then to make things neat and simple, I like to turn off the grid lines at that point. So I just see my table. Now you can, I'm going to click on one, hold down my shift key and click on another row. And now I can separate these rows and make them larger. I'm going to do similarly up here. Click on the B column, hold down shift, click on E, and now I'm going to spread this out so I have more of a size I want to work with. Maybe I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller for the header. To shade this in, I'm going to use the paint buckets, and maybe I'll make the text bold in this area, so I might have beginning and moderate and advanced, so on. And then you can do things like you do in word processor and change the size by highlighting and choosing the font or font size. You can also center these things. You go here and you can decide whether you want them to be up at the top of the cells or in the middle or at the bottom, and so on and so on. Now when I'm typing in the criteria, this is a spreadsheet, so these cells work a little differently than Word documents. So as I type, you'll see that it doesn't automatically return. Not a real problem because I'll hit the return key and you see it looks pretty ugly right now. That just means I need to highlight all these and say don't run through the end of a cell, but wrap. And now I want to tell to begin at the top of the cell and wrap down. And so you can add more. And now this time, because I set it that way, it won't wrap until I hit enter. And now it's there. Now, let's say I need to put a range of points in here. The way to get a return character in here is a little different. You have to go down the Option key and press enter. And then you get a space and you can go 0 to 2 and so on. A little different using a spreadsheet, a little more complicated of things you have to know about using a spreadsheet that make this work, but it gives you the rows and columns rather simply and keeps it organized. Again, this is a Google Sheet, so I could share this in Google Drive very simply, and so that's an advantage of this also. For me, this would not be the top choice, but if you want to learn more about using a spreadsheet to make some nice tables, there's lots of easy options for doing that here.